Hello, people who are not me, and welcome to part 8 of Metroid Fusion. I'm Sire Goku. In this video, we're moving on to the Ice Sector, my least favorite part of the game, but first, some plot. Does Samus suspect anything? No, I don't think so. Good. Monitor her closely. Affirmative. Out. Well, crap, the Federation's up to something. The Federation really is run by assholes. Anyway, we're moving on to Sector 6, which is probably my least favorite part of this entire game, mainly because the beginning of it is total crap. This is by far the hardest section of the entire... This is by far the hardest sector of the entire game. That's not saying too terribly much, but the reason why it's so hard is because... well, you'll find out in a few minutes once I get into the navigation room, and Adam tells us exactly what the heck is wrong with this place. The Varia suit data is here from HQ, ready to download. Sweet. Get moving to data room. But there's a problem. Oh boy. X from the Sub-Zero sector. ARC are in Sector 6. And they've been changed by the cold. If you absorb one, you'll be frozen from within. Fantastic. This seems like a deliberate tactic. Well, duh. Once you download the Varia suit modification, once you download the Varia suit modification, you'll be out of danger. Just be extremely careful. Until then. Right. So basically, because we have Metroid DNA, we are extremely weak to cold, which makes these Ice X pretty much the most annoying thing in the entire game. Thankfully, it's just for one section, and if you know how to get through this sector really fast, which thankfully I do, you don't really have to worry about it too much. Just be careful, because if you absorb ice parasites, you're gonna take like 60 to 70 damage. It's insane. Thankfully, like I said though, I know the layout of this place relatively well, so I'm gonna make sure that I can get through it with very little interruptions and problems and whatnot. This was another case of the Game Boy Advance's lighting effect making things a lot harder than they should be. Because this place is already super dark as it is, and there being no backlight on the original Game Boy Advance, it made seeing in this dungeon next to impossible. And my recommendation is, while you can get all the power-ups on your first run through here, I would sorely advise against that. You don't want to try getting any of the power-ups here while trying to avoid taking massive damage. Best thing to do is just avoid as many of the... See right there? One X alone basically takes out an entire energy tank worth of damage. With the amount of energy tanks I have, I can afford to take a few hits, but I'm not going to risk it. I'll take a few hits. There are a few points where I have to take a hit. Thankfully, there's a free energy tank right here. So you can kind of just rush that room, and as long as you have enough HP to survive, you can just rush it and get your energy refilled with the energy tank. But if you're doing a minimalist run, that's going to make... people doing like a minimalist run, this is by far the hardest part of the entire game. Also, be sure to bomb through the floor here, because you can't get through that wall and you need to use SAX to get through. And she has the ice beam, remember, so you're pretty much screwed if she hits you. So just curl up into a morph ball, hide in the corner. SAX is going to use a power bomb. As long as you're in that exact corner that you see me in right now, you are going to be perfectly fine. Then just sit and wait until that eerie sound just kind of disappears. You know that weird music that fades in whenever SAX is near? Eventually that sound is going to fade away, and that's how you're going to know that it's not in the room anymore. This way you can come down here. And there's the trap right there. If you were to try and go through before the SAX got out of the room, you would be screwed right there. Even if you hid in that corner and waited for her to get out, most likely, well, even if you waited for it, as long as you fall through that platform before it gets out of the room, it's going to notice you and you're basically dead. Anyways, since we still don't have the Various suit, just try to avoid as many of the Ice X as possible. Again, there are certain points where you basically have to take damage, but if you have full HP, it's not going to be that bad. And they're nice enough to give you enemies that drop a lot of health in the very next room, and we're already at the boss, so really, as long as you're careful, you'll make it through here no problems. And apparently this X-Parasite already stole the Various suit from us. That's okay, we've taken out an X-Parasite before, they're not too bad. Just a few shots to the face, and oh god, it's huge! Yeah, apparently absorbing the Various suit makes this Core X huge. It also is surrounded by a bunch of miniature X's as a shield, and I do a pretty bad job of fighting this thing, I'm gonna admit. The fastest way to deal with this thing is to just take out the shield that's surrounding it. And once you have enough of it exposed, then you can just let loose with charge shots. Basically, the charge shots are the better way to go. Because apparently the missiles do work, you just have to be really precise with it. So the fastest way to do it is just use charge beam. It's a lot faster. It doesn't take very long to take down either. It moves in a set pattern. Actually, what am I talking about? Missiles don't work on it. You have to use charge beam. But it moves in a set pattern, and you can pretty much get in a lock fairly simply. And there we go. Now you just deal with it like any other regular X-Parasite, and you're good. This is another case of the dungeon itself being harder than the actual boss. Of course, you wouldn't know that from watching this, because I am bum rushing this thing and taking way too many hits. There we go. But yay, now we got the Various suit. And now this entire section is ridiculously easy. There's no way for you to take damage now. Well, at least not from the Ice X. So the main difficult part of this area is now done. And you're now free to explore to get all the missile and energy tanks that you might have missed while trying to avoid all those freaking blue X-Parasites. If you're a rebel, you can try getting the upgrades and stuff before getting the Various suit. But unless it's an energy tank, you're most likely going to end up just dying while trying to get it. Now, there is a way to get into that wall there, but you have to get it from the top. So you basically have to fall off a specific path and morph ball into the side at just the right time. It's kind of tricky. The timing's a little bit difficult, but you can get it pretty easily if you just have to time it right. Be sure to jump here, otherwise you're going to fall through the platform before getting the missile. And there, see, you just have to morph ball at the perfect time to roll into that pathway. And now going through here's a lot easier because now the ice parasites actively avoid you as opposed to actively try to attack you. So let's try that again. There we go. And for doing that, we get another missile expansion. Sweet! I'm sure I'm missing a lot of missiles right now, but I really don't care. I'm doing a pretty decent job of getting through this game with as many things as I have at the moment. I have played this game quite a few times. I've never actually tried to get 100% in this game, but I'm pretty sure I could at this point. I pretty much have the vast majority of this game memorized at this point. So for now we're pretty much done with this sector. We can just go back to Adam and figure out what the next section is that we need to go to. But I decided to take this time to do a little bit of exploration now that I can afford to, you know, search without having to worry about dying. Even if it is just to fill out the map, which really doesn't affect much in the grand scheme of things. Man, I wish I had power bombs. Having power bombs makes looking for things so much easier because you can just drop a power bomb and it exposes pretty much every hidden room in the area. Because unlike Super Metroid, Metroid Fusion doesn't give you an X-ray visor to search for, you know, explodable walls. So the fastest way to search for explodable walls is just to drop bombs everywhere. But once you get the power bomb, you can just drop one bomb and you can fill out an entire room in seconds. But until then, I gotta do things the slow way, which is unfortunate. But as you watched earlier, I intentionally avoided as much of these earlier rooms as possible because most of these blocks you can shoot through have ice X parasites inside of them, which is gonna end up pretty much killing you if you don't have the Vari suit yet. And trust me, when I first did this section, not only was the Game Boy Advance's lack of a backlight making this ridiculously hard, but I did not realize that half of these blocks had ice X parasites inside of them, and I died in this section like 5 or 6 times. If you're doing this on your first run, and you don't know about that, I mean, they do explain that the Ice X can do massive damage to you, but they don't explain where they're going to show up, so doing it on your first run, not knowing that some of the blocks have hidden X parasites inside of them, yeah, it's kind of frustrating and annoying. Other than that, though, this is definitely the shortest sector of the entire game. Now here they're going to trick you into thinking that that's a missile. It's not. But there is a missile in this room. You just have to bomb through the wall. And there's your actual missile. Typical, you know, Metroid hidden cryptic stuff. Not nearly as cryptic as something like Super Metroid, but it can surprise you if you're not paying attention. With that though, considering I'm not doing a 100% run of this game, I've pretty much cleared out this entire sector, which is a shock to me, honestly, because I didn't expect this to be done as quickly as it was. This is always one of my most dreaded sections to go through whenever I play this game, simply because of the fact that it's so easy to die here. Which makes me kind of question whether this game is super easy or just a little bit harder than Super Metroid, because I guess it's because it's a handheld game, they don't want it to last too long, so they make the sections really condensed, so it feels shorter than it actually is. But I remember the first time I played this game, I think I took at least 19 or 20 hours to beat it. Well, maybe not 9. Yeah, no, I think I took about 19 or 20 hours to beat it. because of sectors like this that took me like 2 or 3 hours to get through because I wasn't sure how to avoid taking massive damage from those stupid ice axe parasites. Well, for now I'm just filling out the map because I feel like doing that. Otherwise, this part would be super short. But since we pretty much covered everything we can possibly get here at the moment, we can go to the next section. We're still lacking on a lot of things. Considering the SAX has a power bomb and we don't yet, there's a lot of places that we should be able to get to, but we can't. So until we get power bombs, we're still kind of limited on what we can do. For people that like to speedrun or that like to explore, I can understand why the linearity of this game can be a little bit off-putting. Because you want to do all this exploring, but you can't until you get specific items. Like I said, the lack of power bombs right now is, even for someone like me that's played this game dozens of times, is like, I just want my power bombs so I can get through hidden areas faster. Not that I'm trying to speedrun this game to this playthrough, but it's like you have something that it's like Super Metroid, where you can get the power bombs really early, which cuts back on a lot of backtracking if you get the power bombs early. With this game, you can't get the power bombs super early. You have to get a lot of little things before you get the power bomb, which I can understand that being frustrating for people. So, right now I'm just repeating myself over and over again because I have nothing else to say. Like I said, this can be one of the harder sections if you're not used to the layout or how to dodge X parasites. Other than that, it's relatively straightforward. You just go from room to room until you find the Varia suit. Yeah, I actually found some more stuff here. But unfortunately, you can't actually get to that missile expansion from here. And it took me a while to realize, oh wait, there's probably a way I can get in from the top. In which there is. You have to bomb your way down there. Well, actually no, you have to go to the other room. But you do have to bomb down there, so... There we go, see? And there we go. So I have 100 missiles now, huzzah! I know a lot of people that would do 100% runs would probably have twice as many missiles and twice as much energy tanks that I do, but I'm not trying to go for a 100% run. Anyway, that pretty much sums up this video. So in the next part, we will go to the navigation room and figure out where Adam wants us to go to next. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.